For the past year, politically driven media has dominated our news feeds. Every day, we are reminded of controversial one-liners and scandalous debates, many of which sparked from conversations regarding immigration. But even before the 2016 election, immigration policy ignited disputes in D.C. The Obama administration was dedicated to reform, creating programs such as DACA, which offers work permits, educational opportunities, and protection to those who immigrated illegally as children. Cities such as San Francisco and New York were challenged by the public for their sanctuary city status, meaning that they choose to not comply with federal immigration laws that state any arrested non-citizens should be turned over to ICE, or the Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Disagreements such as these were addressed passionately by candidates, and soon, after his inauguration, President Donald Trump passed an executive order that temporarily suspended immigration from countries such as Syria and Iran. With the increased presence of politics in our media, how does the way we view this information have an influence on what we believe and how we participate? To seek further, we interviewed several students across UCVTS, as well as outside students who have shown an especially active approach regarding immigration. First, we interviewed 19-year-old Ricky Castaneda. In the fall of 2016, in the middle of his first semester at Rutgers Newark, Ricky decided to run for public office by placing himself on the ballot for the school board in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Ricky is one of the many young men and women running for office across America. He shared with us some of the reasons he participates and why activism is important to him.
Seeing Bernie Sanders and his message, and it's not just myself, a bunch of other people across the United States were also inspired by his message to go and run for public office. So I called the Union County divisions of elections, and I asked them, what's the process to be on the ballot for school board? They were telling me, the deadline's in 5 days, right? I'm like, okay, so what's the process then? So to run for school board, it's actually not that hard. I was able to, without spending a single penny, almost 1,000 votes, to be exact, 999. I was pretty sad that I wasn't able to get that one more vote. Still, I felt very proud of myself that I was able to inspire 999 people to what my message was. And I doubt that this will be the last time I'll run. I hope to run again maybe this year.
In addition to Ricky, we also interviewed some volunteers at Make the Road New Jersey, an immigrants' rights association based in Elizabeth. The organization forms petitions, organizes marches, provides classes, and does much more to advocate for policy and make a difference in their community. We reached out to them to learn more about what they do and why they do it. So, as an organization, what is your mission?
So our mission is to build the power of working class immigrant families in Elizabeth and in Union County to achieve dignity and respect through transformative education, through policy advocacy, and through legal services. And we do a lot of transformative policy and policy advocacy work. So what that looks like in real time is a lot of marching and protests and rallies, either in support of legislation or policy that is pro-immigrant, or sort of having rapid response protocol that is anti-immigrant. So there are currently about 550 Latino and Haitian Creole and Muslim families that participate at Make the Road. They meet every Thursday and they learn about what their rights are in the event of a raid.
Here at Make the Road, our mission is to help those that don't have a voice. We're a melting pot here in Elizabeth, so it's difficult to know that your friend or your cousin or your neighbor is going through such difficult times, and we're only in high school or they're only in middle school. We're not trying to be rude and we're not trying to be disrespectful, but we're trying to get our voices out there, we're trying to get our voices heard, and it's hard to have that when there's people out there bad-naming you and making it hard for you.
When one of our members gets detained by ICE or they get in trouble with the law because of their immigration status, we like to stand by them in courtrooms and with rallies, visuals, and just demonstrate community unity.
So recently we actually did a campaign of sorts, and what our goal was to make the Elizabeth Public School System a sanctuary school system. So that would mean that immigration wouldn't be able to come to our schools and demand information or search for any undocumented students.
Throughout all of our interviews at UCVTS, we looked straight to the issues and found out how opinion varied amongst the groups. In general, We first wanted to see how these students felt about immigration and whether they believed an increase in it could help or harm our country.
Increased immigration, overall, I'd say it's more beneficial than not, just because it's more people coming in, and it's diversifying just our culture.
It's like down south in Texas, when immigration comes in, they kind of do take jobs that certain people need. And I understand the argument that there are jobs that people don't want, but it's still a matter of fact that some people do need jobs. So I feel that America as a government should first cover the people who are already there and then focus on immigration, things like that.
I don't think it is a problem. I can only foresee it being a problem if there's not the same level of vetting as before, and just letting in a bunch of people who aren't correctly vetted wouldn't be a problem.
I do believe increased immigration has become a problem in this country because it's led to more illegal immigrants living here. Because I do believe that America is the land of opportunity. People should feel free to come over here and start a whole new life, start a new family, a new job, whatever, as long as they become legal and they become active and participate in our country and don't just live here legally.
Increased immigration has not become a problem in the U.S. because it is a cornerstone of what makes America America. We're a country formed on the values and inputs of other perspectives that are not just one person's, and we have a wide range of individuals' views. Now, what I do have a problem with is increased illegal immigration, which I do believe is affecting those that are trying to enter the country legally and hurting them and their chances.
With such a variety of opinions regarding immigration policy, we need to consider the impact that media may have. How is immigration portrayed in the media? And does this have an effect on what people believe?
Well, I think that in the media it's portrayed as something as a process that's really easy. People are always saying, oh, just become a citizen, it shouldn't be that hard, but really it takes a lot of months to get through processing. It takes a lot of money. It's not as easy as people think it is.
And recently, I think we've had a very negative image, especially with some of the things that Trump has said about immigrants. But I feel like with time and if we get our voice out there, I feel like we can give the proper voice that we need to express our needs and wants.
So in the media, I think that immigration policy is always a thing that tries to it's always something that's sensationalized. They try to portray it as we are denying people their futures by making immigration policies that would impact the amount of immigrants that we can have. So I think that in the media we should be more focusing on the facts about immigration and not as much about the emotions behind it.
Well, when it comes to the media and immigration laws, the media tends to be more leftist, I guess you could say, and it's very open about it, and they are, more accepting of it, and they don't mind having more immigrants.
Generally, when we think of mainstream media, maybe not in the best light, or there's an assumption that these protests like Women's March sort of come out of nowhere, and it sort of comes in the face of the work that grassroots organizations do here, and it makes it seem like it's not personable, which I think is maybe not an issue that people typically think of, but that's been an issue for us, right? It just seems like, one, the march is where the work begins and ends, and that's not true. Or two, the march is already so big that it doesn't need me.
I think media is generally liberal, left-leaning for the most part, so perhaps the petroleum media isn't balanced enough. I don't think it has that much of an impact. People kind of hold on to their beliefs, and there's the whole cognitive dissonance thing where, if they watch something they disagree with, they're just going to disagree more with it.
If I follow more conservative media, they believe it's wrong, they're telling me this set of facts, so I'm going to believe them. Or if I believe a lot of group of people that says, okay, the liberal media is correct in saying that, oh, this is bad, this is wrong, we're denying people of their freedoms. So people aren't getting the full picture, and it leads to groups of, I don't want to say riots, but it can lead to strong opinion that is uninformed.
It's true that media is typically liberal and favors the process of immigration while also scolding anti-immigration policy. It's difficult to study its effects or lack thereof unless we focus on certain policies. First, let's take a look at DACA.
In 2010 and 2012, President Barack Obama and his administration enacted two immigration policies called DAPA and DACA. DAPA stands for Deferred Action for Parents of Americans and Lawful Permanent Residents, and it protects illegal immigrants who have come to the United States since 2010 and have children who are either American citizens or lawful permanent residents, meaning they have a green card. The policy protects them by granting them deferred action status, which delays their deportation but does not give them legal status. It also allows them to gain employment opportunities but doesn't give them a direct path to citizenship. DACA stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, and it protects illegal immigrants from deportation who have come to the United States as children. It also allows them to have a work permit. In 2016, the Supreme Court debated the constitutionality of the DAPA program in a case called the United States versus Texas. It ruled in a deadlock vote of 4-4, which in result left in place a lower court's order in Texas that blocked Obama's DACA program from going into effect. During Trump's campaign and presidency, he has stated that he will end DACA and deport all illegal immigrants. According to a CNN ORC poll, the majority of Americans, nearly 2/3, state that they want to see a path to legal status for undocumented immigrants rather than deportation and ending DACA. This is a huge contrast against the policies Trump wants to implement. Many citizens even became politically active by partaking in a Day Without Immigrants protest on February 16, 2017 by boycotting, refusing to work, staying home from school, abstaining from shopping, and closing their businesses in order to speak out against Trump's policies towards immigrants, which includes getting rid of DACA, deporting illegal immigrants, enacting the Muslim ban, and building the wall. This protest exemplifies social media's powerful effect of disseminating ideas and promoting political action towards policies because the movement was spread through social media such as Facebook and Twitter.